You've tuned into The Mountain Gardener with your host, Ken Lain. Gardening, it can be challenging, but with these simple insider tips, you'll reap huge rewards. Now, let's tune into today's Mountain Gardener with Ken and Lisa. One of the beauties of having a studio right here at the Garden Center is when someone like Jim Rupe from Monrovia shows up to train your staff, they can all go, Jim, you've got to share some of that info with listeners. They need to know this stuff. And so you agreed to come in the studio. I dragged you in. Hey, would you hold this microphone? So welcome to the studio. Welcome to Mountain Gardener, Jim.
Well, thank you. I'm glad to be here. It's fun.
So now Monrovia, tell us about Monrovia Growers. This is a very large farm. You're on thousands of acres. You've got 3 or 4 farms now.
Well, let's call it 3. Yeah.
3? Okay.
Georgia, Oregon, and Central California. Yeah.
Yep.
And we started in 1926, which means next year 100-year anniversary.
That's actually crazy. That's amazing.
That is crazy. So, as you know, we were the first company really to start growing in mass plants in containers back eons ago. And we ship all across the country and into Canada as well. So.
Gotcha. So we pull for mainly your 2 farms on the West Coast. So out of Portland, Oregon, that area, a lot of the evergreens, conifers come up from there. A lot of the blooming stuff, lilacs, rhododendrons come up from there. And then the Central Valleys, it's a hotter area, more desert. We get a lot of our agaves and yuccas and that kind of
vines. Yeah.
So you got a great mixture. And I really want the hydrangeas you grow in Georgia. So when you start shipping those out west, I want to be the first one.
I just toured the Visalia location last week.
Yeah.
And we have some outstanding 5-gallon hydrangeas coming on.
Really?
Really. They're just shaped lovely. It's going to be a beautiful crop of hydrangeas. So
put me down for 100. I want 20 of every color. Just bring them. We'll take them. When do they start blooming? That's all I want to know.
Okay.
You know what we should do? Let me know what those are, and I'll let people know. I'll do it a plant drop. I'll let people buy them early.
Yeah.
And just when they're ready, we'll let them know, and they've already got their name on it, and they'll make sure they get one. Because a lot of times you run out of that fancy reblooming blue or purple or some of these exotic colors.
And all the varieties of hydrangeas we're doing now are designed for this climate.
Yeah.
In other words, if the foliage dies back in the wintertime, the stems, which can happen in real cold climates like this, hydrangeas, they'll come back up, but they won't bloom.
Right. So
the varieties we're doing, if it gets cold enough in the winter where it kills off some of the stems, they'll bloom on that new wood. So
most old-fashioned, the hydrangeas your grandparents grew,
right?
They bloomed on second-year wood, and if the winter burned them back, there'd be a beautiful shrub, but no flower. So now we've figured out how to train it to bloom on this year's new growth.
Yeah. Brilliant. So I'll pick out 4 good varieties, and that's a good idea.
Literally, I'll let people stay tuned in. You'll want to see this. When do you think they're available? Just so people
I think later April, actually, this year. Things are running a little bit earlier. So
are they?
I would say late April, early May. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But for sure, definitely for great Mother's Day.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
So you got my wheels turning going, we got a Mother's Day promotion. Hydrangeas for your mom and a hanging basket. Here you go. So stay tuned. Anyway, we digress. So you're just touring the farms, and if I say, they had hydrangeas. What is Jim Rupe? You're a local. You're a Prescott guy. You can live anywhere in the state. You're the representative. You represent Monrovia for all of Arizona. You can live in Tucson, Yuma, Flagstaff, White Pine Mountain. I mean, you could live anywhere. Why Prescott?
Yuma? You say Yuma?
Just names go. Green Valley. Here we come.
Prescott. Well, as my wife says, this is the livable part of Arizona. It's not as hot as Phoenix. And it's not as cold as Flagstaff.
Sure.
But really, as a kid, I came to this area. My grandparents retired in Cottonwood.
I did not know that.
I would stay with them like a month at a time in the summer when I was off school. And so they kind of took me around and took me to all kinds of places in central Arizona.
Cool.
So when I had this opportunity to transfer with our company to here, I jumped on it and said,
Yeah.
I want to
And you've
live
been
in
here,
Prescott.
you worked for the company for how long now?
I think almost 37, 38 years. I've kind of
Really?
lost
That's a
count.
long time.
Yeah.
For one company.
Yeah.
You ever worked for anyone else?
I made hinges when I was a kid in high school. Yeah.
Just literally, you made
Made
hinges.
hinges. Yeah.
Wow.
And then I did I worked retail too in San Diego in my early 20s and was a
Gotcha.
manager of a retail garden center. And,
Really?
yeah. And
I've done a lot of interviews of folks in this industry. They came to our open house, or they coming through, and that's a theme. They're now working for this huge company, taking over large territories. They're grossly successful, but they frequently got their start at a garden center.
Yep.
I just had one that has a Kmart garden center, another one that had another family garden center. Now you just said the same thing, a garden. That's interesting how what that theme is.
You know, in this business, once you get started in it, you just can't get out. You just stay in it. And that's because we love it. We work with a living thing, plants. I mean,
that's right.
We're
outdoors in the sunshine,
yeah,
fresh air. You stay fit because you're not sitting idle behind a screen, taking orders or whatever it is that you do. You're not sedentary. You're active.
And people who work in plants, they're great to be around. We're just easy to get along with. And
they are.
So it's just great people I've worked with for the last.
And that hasn't changed. So I've been in this. So we've been as a company, our company, 63 years, and it really hasn't changed. I've been in the family business for 33 years. It's still pretty much the same, cultural wise. Easy going. I think it's because we're fresh off the farm, or we are farmers. We're dealing with living, breathing plants. It's a seasonality thing, and we're helping customers garden better, smarter, more successfully. And there's just this helpful thing that you do with your customers, and you do that with us. So I haven't thought about why do we stay in the business so long, but it's a theme. Yeah.
It's funny you said like farmers. It's like every conversation starts out with the weather with us too.
So what's your favorite plant? If you had to go out in the garden center right now, I'm going to let you have any one of your plants. You can take it home and plant it. Which one? You can only pick one.
Oh, that's like ask me what's my favorite song. It depends on my mood, what I've had to drink. But I think the plant I love for this area is probably the autumn sages.
Okay.
Just because
Salvia greggii. Perfect.
There's different colors. They do extremely well. Nothing eats them.
Yeah. Hummingbirds
love them. Good pollinator plant. Can be a great container plant.
Yeah.
So it's just always one of my favorites. And, especially somebody new moving here that's, trying to get their feet wet with what grows here. I want them to have success. It's like, okay, let's plant some autumn sage. You'll have good success. And then,
we'll and go from there.
Go from there. So.
Good knee-high plant, nice mounding. It blooms from April through November. I mean, it just has everything that you really want.
Yeah.
If it could glow in the dark, that could make it better. That's the only thing.
Well, okay. There's the white ignition purple.
Okay.
Great for moonlight gardening.
That's true.
So
there you go. Yeah.
So we're close. Okay.
So we've got the, did you see the new radio red salvia out there? The red is intense. I mean, normally it's a yellow, not a yellow, it's a pinky red. It's pure, like intense red. It's beautiful.
Hey, one thing I wanted to bring up is we have a pollinator contest coming up, and you're going to be part of that.
Yep.
And it's going to start mid-April. So we'll be making a really nice display here of plants that are for pollinators to attract bees.
Yep.
And they'll also attract hummingbirds and butterflies, a lot of these plants. So you just come on in, scan the QR code, and register, and we're going to be giving away some free plants. Yeah, exactly. In the end of April, we'll pick winners for those. Come in and pick up the plants from you.
We're starting to focus more and more on pollinators. That's a big theme right now. So helping the butterflies, the hummingbirds, the bees, and so there's a subculture of gardeners that just love, they come in a shopping cart full of, they just want to know pollinators. This fits perfectly into that. So
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Jim Rupe with Monrovia Nursery here at Waters Garden Center. You can take a look at his plants anytime because we love the quality, the consistency, the beauty of Monrovia plants here at Waters Garden Center.
Waters Garden companion plants of the month are lilac, poppy, purple plum, and our white night candy tuft.
Masses of fragrant white flowers cover mounds of perennial green foliage.
Extreme heat and cold tolerance, this award winner repeatedly blooms without deadheading for super easy care.
Butterflies, bees, hummingbirds are going to love your backyard again.
White Night Candy Tuft can only be found at Waters Garden Center, 1815 Iron Springs Road in Prescott.
For a more fruitful garden, increased success in the landscape that just feels better, then tune in daily to the Mountain Gardener podcast. Subscribe through your favorite podcast streamer or visit watersgardencenter.com. Better yet, visit me directly right here at Waters Garden Center. Thanks for tuning in.